Hey everyone, welcome back to AAMC. Sorry I've been gone for a couple weeks. Got sick and then had to play catch up. Been kind of cold out. My shop's a mess. Got to clean that up. But got something real great today. This will be part one of the restoration of an early 1920s artisan lathe. And it is right here behind me. Now I've needed a lathe for some time, and I had a great big one. It was a Monarch, and I sold it. Fix my camera. Sold it. Haven't had one for a long time, and I've got a drill press, a power hacksaw shaper, and was on the old marketplace there a couple days ago, and bam, this popped up. Pretty good shape. Has quick change gearbox as well. This is interesting the way it's built. This is how the carriage or the apron moves back and forth. Pretty interesting. It also has that, of course, this moves your compound back and forth, and it's still pretty tight actually. And this here is to disengage and engage your automatic feed. Now there's not a lot on these online. There's a few of them that are in pictures and stuff like that, but nothing much as far as that goes. Like the company just kind of quit at 1927. It's like it just went bankrupt and just disappeared. But I had a couple different information on this lathe. Pretty much the machine, they said on one side it was like 1887. Don't hold me to it, to like 1927. But then I seen another advertisement and another form that was on the internet that said these were built between 1921 to 1927. So I'm not really 100% sure. Long story short, I'm tickled to death to have it. I really like the size. I really like the footprint and the way it's designed, and it's antique, it's old, it suits me. It's got flat belt on it. It's just great. So it had a little forward and reverse switch here, and this lathe doesn't require a bunch of gears like an old style one would. You'd have a big stack of gears. You'd have to calculate your threading and everything else. So basically the way this thing works, it's got like an A and B gear inside of here, and this actually moves up and down. You would loosen this and pick it up and down, and you would pretty much, I don't know if y'all can see that or not, I'll have to clean it, but there's like say 28 and 56 on the gearing. There's a gear in here. Basically I'm just using A and B as a reference here, but you'll match those two up. You don't have to change a bunch of stuff to make it thread, and then of course you put it to whatever you want it to, or whatever thread you're trying to achieve, and then you can activate it, you know. But anyway, it also has a back gear under this cover, which I'll have to take all that off. We can look at that. But what happened to it was, and of course you can see it spin here, you can actually switch it over back and forth. A little slop right there, but nothing terrible. We'll take it out of it, whatever it takes. But this ought to be a really fun project, and I really need it to make parts for my steam engines and other stuff. So this is coming first before I do anything else, and I got to get my power hacksaw fixed. But anyway, back to the lathe. What we got to make, what had happened there, they had a serpentine belt hooked to this, and it pulled too much tension. It snapped right here in this roll pin. And what it's supposed to have is an arm that comes out and down, and it's got like a little set of fingers that run back and forth, and this disengages and engages this clutch. Now what had happened was, there's supposed to be somewhere on this thing, I don't know exactly where, but I gotta find it. I gotta look at some pictures online of another one. Long story short, there's supposed to be a little arm with a pulley that's weighted right here. And what that does, that creates tension on the flat belt, and then you can adjust the to be able to just, you lift it up, slide your belt over, and then adjust it. So basically you could change your speeds here, and then you would disengage and engage from there. And this lever is supposed to sit, I think it's supposed to sit down here like this. Then you work it back and forth right like that. So anyway, what we're going to do this evening is pull the back two bearings off here, pull all that, and take it apart and see what we can do with it. I think it's going to be just a common piece of stock. I don't think it's going to be nothing crazy. I'll probably just I thought about welding it up and drilling it, but I'll just get a new piece of stock and redo it completely, not unless it's just something absolutely crazy here. Not really sure. It doesn't look too complicated at all. It looks like I think those are brass grease cups too. If those aren't, they might be steel. Let's see. Ooh, brass, I think. Looks like brass. Can't tell. I think it is. Wiping the grease. They look brass. It'd be awful nice. So what we're going to do to it is repair all this. New belt. Clean it. Polish it. We're going to get probably clean this chuck up, but I'll probably end up buying a wonderful Chinesium 3-jaw and a new 4-jaw. And also another interesting feature of this lathe, it's a gap bed, which it means you can put a faceplate in here and do a larger diameter part, like maybe like a flange, something like that. Another thing to note, I thought was kind of cool, it had a nice little knob right there, a little handle to adjust the motor. Probably not the original motor. Some of the others that I've seen on here were flat belt, but then you look at some of the others, that's original, so it must have been V-belt originally from the factory. It's the only thing I could figure. And then the flat belt was over here, and that basically kept you from tearing up the lathe. If it got too hard of a bind, it would actually probably slip the belt, which would be just fine, you know. And it's kind of nice here. You can adjust your tailstock left and right for tapers. They did offer a steady rest with these, but we didn't have that with it. So we got to figure out what goes to what. What's that? Some kind of clip somebody had hanging there. So, and it's kind of neat. There's a little set of bevel gears in here that runs this big lead, runs your lead screw here. So that's pretty cool. And also, once you get up into the bed, once you come off of here, it comes up to this piece here, and that was put in to give it extra support while you were turning as you got really close to your work. So that's pretty neat as well. So anyway, so what we're going to do first is take this apart and go from there. And again, thank you guys for subscribing and supporting the channel. I've reached 500, which is awesome, and it's climbing every day. So because of you all make me want to keep doing these videos and doing this type of stuff, and it makes it worth it for me. So, but like I said, thanks again. And this is part 1 of the Artisan Lathe. Okay, let's see. First things first. I can't do it from this angle. Let's loosen the belt up on that motor. And start with that. Go ahead and loosen this. Take the tension off. Of course, everything's gonna get cleaned up anyway. But there we go. Well, if not, we'll even try the motor out. They said it worked real good and sounded good, so we'll get an extension cord and try it out here in a sec. Wiring's gonna get changed, but which it's not a bad spot where the switch is at. There we go. Pop that loose. It's pretty free. So, alright. cut part loose. Now then, let's go ahead and we're going to pull. There's a bolt right there, and that'll pop that little bearing cap off. Now I already loosened it up before I turned my camera on. I ain't gonna lie to you. Let's see here. It didn't come out very hard either. Them's all brass. Yeah, it's brass too. It's definitely worn. I mean, I don't, but it's not as bad as what I thought either. A little bit of ovaling, not bad. So anyway, there's one piece. Put the nut back on it, that way we don't lose it, and this should just slide right off. And there we have it, a clutch assembly. So let's go to the bench. Okay, we got grease off this thing. All right, that's a nice smooth piece of steel. So the way these are drove in there, you got roll pin, looks like roll pins or peened over pins. It looks like, yeah. Okay, peening is when they take a hammer and mash it down on both sides, and that holds it in tight. But so anywho, what is broken is that right there, because it had too much tension. So what we're going to do is take the old pins out, get this separated and took apart, and that'll be kind of all I can do today on it. I gotta get me a piece of stock. We'll figure out the size. Actually, we'll get a caliper here. There is one laying around here somewhere. So right at 3/4. 3/4 shaft. 0.75. Okay. So we know what to get. Might just see if I can buy a nice piece of pretty polished like stock. Maybe chromed even. Don't know if it'll help any. Got some spots there. But anyway, what we'll do is go ahead and get this apart. That ain't gonna work. Thought that little Dremel might do it, but that disc ain't really too good. That's just a roll pin there. That one was peened. Should be enough to get that out though. Now, let's go to the vise. Got us a couple different sizes. Let's see which one's gonna work. That's perfect. That will do. Oh, like butter. And there you have it. There's one. Now we'll go to number 2. Now we'll just try it right here. Might be too much give right here. Ooh. Ouch. Well, it didn't matter anyway. It come apart. So, pull that apart. I've got the other half of this where the flat belt pulley, so it'll give me the right length as well. So what we're going to do is clean. Doubt this is going to move. Yeah. So what we're going to do is clean this shaft up and go from there. See if we can disassemble some pieces. Have to drive that out of there too. Okay, see how stuck it is. Nope, ain't gonna be too stuck at all actually. Look at that. Just a big cone up in there. Runs in a bronze bushing. Kinda, yeah, not too bad at all. We'll get all this cleaned up real good and get all that rust off these pulleys and everything. Probably won't do that today exactly, but get close. So let's wipe some grime off of here. It's a pretty easy fix, other than maybe I'm gonna check in bearings real good. They are a little bit oval, but I kind of wonder if I'll just leave it alone kind of deal. As far as that goes, like I could, they should be fine. I'll just keep an eye on them. I don't want them to get too thin and then, you know, die. That would suck. Of course, if you got one good one, you could have some casted and replace them, which wouldn't be that big of a deal. Okay, let's see if we can get this out. I don't see anything. Oh, I'll be daggone, look at that. I just realized I thought this was metal. That's wood. I think it's wood. I don't think it's yeah. How about that? It's a piece of wood screwed in with screws. I'll be daggone. Huh, I thought that was metal the way it looked for a minute, the way that paint was on there. Well, we definitely don't want to damage that. It's still good and we don't want to have to replace it. So let's go over to the vise here and we'll see if we can just tap it and see what it does. Hopefully it doesn't fight me too bad. Sorry for moving the camera so much. It's got a burr. No, I gotta go this way. I have to. Let's pull this as a washer. I don't want to kill that wood if I don't have to. Yeah. Put that there. Got a keyway that holds it on. So we'll put it this direction. Wait a minute. I don't think it runs all the way through. It does not. Okay, you have to come out this way. Well, let's get creative. I'm not taking that apart if I don't have to. So what I'll do is, see how it's got a shoulder up in here? What I'll do is get me a piece of pipe, fit around this, and I'll just stand it up and drive it out that way, because that does have a keyway. And it won't go all the way through. So let's go find a piece of pipe. Well, I didn't find a piece of pipe, but I found a great big nut. So that'll work. Let's see if we can drive it out of there. it started moving. Tapered that a little bit, that way it can't mushroom on me. And wait a minute. Actually, no, it needs to come out this way. Boy, I'm dumb. Boy, I'm stupid. That's what it's all about, messing up. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I did go the opposite way. Gosh. Ah, okay. I went the wrong way. Oh, that's backwards. Not the first time I've messed up, and probably not, and never going to be the last. I need to show it that way. Okay. Well, let's grind the other side now. Easy now. Yep, there was a pin in there. Right there. Okay, so I guess you have to put that back in, you have to take this back apart. So I will have to actually take the screws out of this. Yeah, oh boy. That's okay. Ain't no big deal. We'll go ahead and drive this out, because then we can mark all of our holes and drill it. Or not drill it, but the new piece of stock, and cut the keyway in it. There we go. So there was something inside of there, so I guess that's what that was. I thought that was just a little shoulder. Yeah, I went backwards with it, but I really thought that was just a little shoulder that was in there. I thought it was part of the casting, to be honest. Turns out the whole dang piece is keyed. So that's why it wasn't coming off the first time. But that's okay, we got it apart. So, there's that part. That, a keyway, and a couple shims. Got to drive that one out next, but that won't be too big a deal. This one goes here. This one went on the outside. Like so. And this one went on where this went, or where it broke. That went on the other side of that, so that's just an old rope, just a pin. Okay, we'll go ahead and pull that apart, and that's going to be pretty much all I do this evening. I'll go ahead and, I don't have the other pulley with me. I left it in my buddy's truck. I forgot to grab it. He's got it, so I'll have it tomorrow. Then what I'll do is measure the shaft, and I'll go get me a piece of 3/4 inch shaft, and we'll pop it. We'll go ahead and drill the holes in it, and then we're going to have to mill a keyway in here. So we'll get that done, and once that's done, we can clean up the bearing surfaces. Or not bearing surfaces, geez. The bearings themselves, I'll clean them up, scrub them down a little bit cleaner. And once we do that, we will assemble it back together. I will make it a flat belt for it. And we're just going to try it with this belt that we have and go from there. And then, of course, then we'll go on to bigger and better things. We will see about building the disengage lever for it. And we'll make some, seen some of these online with like little knobs. I might make some nice decorative ones for it. We'll get everything cleaned out, cleaned up. We'll scrub everything. I'm going to be doing a lot of electrolysis. I'm going to electrolysis this little 3 jaw. I don't know how good it is. Cleaning it up. Might see if I can purchase jaws for it and maybe use it. I ain't decided just yet. That's an oil cap. So, how is it put on there? I'd say it's threaded. Probably had to break it free. It's either that or it's bolted with these bolts. I'm not really sure. But we ain't gonna tackle that today. We're gonna tackle the first main problem, which is getting the shaft fixed. So we got that part done. Sorry for such a short part, but it's the end of the day and don't have the stuff laying here exactly. So we'll have to, like I said, get me a piece of rod. But we can go ahead and try that out because the wiring don't look bad. He said he turned it on actually, so it does work. But we will go find us an extension cord and give it a try here. Well, got the cord plugged in. Let's see if the motor works. So forward. On the truth. Ooh, that's a quiet one. That's awesome. Listen how quiet that is. I have a feeling this thing is not going to be extremely loud. That's dandy. Oh yeah, I like that. I honestly don't mind the switch. I thought about moving it because I've seen some in some pictures that had the switch mounted down here. But honestly, I think I might just rewire it. I really like these type of switches too. They're just neat. It's very interesting, and I just like the little knob thing on it. It's kind of interesting the way you can throw the switch left or right. Let's see if we got reverse. Oh, okay. Got it that way. So it must be reverse. Let's stop. Oh, we got forward and reverse. That is just sweet. Man, that thing is quiet. That's a nice motor. I am tickled with that right now. That is awesome. This is going to be such a fun lathe to use. I am really excited about using this and getting it fixed and painted and redone. And I don't think I'm going to take this off on this video. Like I said, we'll just do what I just did right there, which was taking that apart, getting that done, seeing what I need to make it to actually move, and then, like I said, once we get it moving, then I'll get it moving, lubricate it up decently, and check all the functions on it, and then we'll really get into the prettying and scrubbing and I don't know what color I'm going to go with. I'm noticing there's green all over it. I don't know if these were green originally from the factory. I like gray, but I really don't want a gray machine. So I'm either going to go with like a dark green, or I consider maybe maroon, like a real pretty maroon color. So I'm not sure what color I want to paint it, but I might be shooting towards maroon or green. Not really sure yet, but it will get the finest quality brush paint job that you can buy on the market. Of course, I mean, I'm going to take it apart to an extent and paint this thing. Like, I'll clean up all the ways. We'll take the carriage off. I'll polish all the screw because that's rusty. That just looks like poopy. It's a little rough, actually. It's kind of pitted, but you mostly stop right here on your work. Which again, this is kind of, see, that's out. Yeah, it's out. That's just neat how that works, because most lathes it's over here, and this is just off to the side. Let's see how far it runs up. Yeah, because that's about where it ends anyway. But we're still going to polish that. That way it does work. Yeah, we're gonna polish all that. That way it's all cleaned up and it moves free. I like to polish the handles, really clean them good. Even got some dowel and stuff right there. Check that out. Got little notches. So we'll get all that. That's gonna be a lot of wire. Gonna be a lot of wire brushing. But it's still pretty good. It don't really have a lot of slop in it. not a lot of slop at all. So this is going to be fun. This is really going to be fun. Like I said, that's awesome that the switch works and how quiet that motor is. That's great. Absolutely great. I think about the only thing you're going to hear is a little bit of chatter of gears moving in this thing. Hopefully when it's done, if it needs any bushings or bearings, we'll make it for it. Probably going to end up making a faceplate for it. Not unless it's, ooh, that don't sound good. So, it's got a brake in it. It might have it, I don't know. Anyway, that's a pretty nice motor, half horse. Pretty nice. But anyway, I don't know what spindle this is. I don't know, like I said, if it bolts on here. Maybe it might thread on here. I don't know. We haven't got that far. It does have a locking mechanism to put it in the back gear. So I might try on the next video to break this free. But probably going to end up making a faceplate, not unless I can buy one for it or find one, you know, that'll fit it. And, you know, actually I trained to be a machinist by trade. And I didn't end up working in machining, but I do know a little bit about machining, and I've been at it for a while, so you know, I've been really wanting to get back into it. I enjoyed it. I just never went to work for a machine shop. I realized that I didn't like production work. I didn't want to do that. I really like doing this kind of work, like what we're doing. We're doing fix-it work, and I really enjoy that. I like restoration work, so that's hopefully as this channel goes on, you'll get to see more of this stuff, which, like I said, I've got steam engine videos. You've already seen the Lathe in my video. If you haven't seen that engine, go over and check it out. It's in some of my earlier videos, and you know, hopefully I'll get to make parts for it on this. So that'll be really cool, taking a 1920s era machine and building parts for 30s and 40s steam engines and 20s era stuff. And but basically I trained to be a machinist, but I've been at it for a while. I do know a lot of different things, but my other buddy, that the lathe we're going to use, which I'll show you that, this is his lathe. This is a South Bend 14, as you can see. And what we're going to do, he is actually going to show me how to do internal threading, I think, because like I said, if we can't find a faceplate for it or nothing like that, we're going to make one, and that'll be a fun video to do. So he's going to teach me what he knows, because he actually did go into a professional machine shop at one time. He worked for one, and so yeah, he sharpened his skills a little bit more than I did. But I did quite a bit in school. I've got a few projects I'll have to show you. I built a small steam engine, oscillating style. I built a steam whistle. We will, when my editor does this video, I'll see if he can find some clips, and we'll post them in this video, maybe, potentially. So you can hear that whistle, what it sounds like. And we'll probably restore this whistle on this lathe. We'll give it a try. If not, we'll just use the bigger lathe. But hopefully we'll get to restore it. But anywho, I think that's where I'm going to stop for the evening. It's time to go home, and we'll start back on it tomorrow. Again, you know, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for liking and subscribing. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like. Doesn't cost nothing. Helps me out. Makes me keep wanting to make these videos. And again, just thanks, guys. You know, appreciate, you know, people talking and leaving nice comments. That's really cool. And some different people leaving. I have one gentleman, he left me a big long story on there. That was pretty cool. I got to read that and talk a little bit to him. So, you know, as far as that goes. But Yep, this part 1, so part 2 will be coming up here very soon. Thanks again, y'all.